ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. In this video, let us examine what is Satsang and what happens in a Satsang and what is the law of synchronicity. So let us examine these aspects. One disciple has asked his master, "Master, how can I be like Lord Rama or Lord Krishna or like you? How can that kind of divinity manifests in me? And you please guide me." So something like that he asked the master. The master said, "Don't imitate. If you imitate any personality or anybody, then you lose your own potential. You are imposing somebody on yourself. So you have to light your own inner light. To be awakened means to become a Buddha, means to light your own self." So enlightened masters share their insights. Understand them, but do not follow them. Understand the essence of their insights and teachings with deep love and gratitude. When they speak, just listen to them totally in deep love and trust. So when you start listening or reading such essence of the teachings of the masters, something happens in you. Some kind of movement, a divine movement, some kind of stirring happens within you. And to be awakened like a Buddha or any enlightened master means to light your own inner self. You have to do it yourself. You have to delve into your own self. So this is called the law of synchronicity. See, when you are in the presence of a live master, something happens in you because it is a powerhouse. So when you are in the presence of that powerhouse, some light is ignited by the essence of the teaching of the master through a breeze, through a flash. It gets, your inner self gets lit and starts spreading its light. So you have to, if you are fortunate to be in contact with a live master, you be intimate as much as possible. You be in close proximity as much as possible, so that your inner light, if you are ready, gets lit in the moments of those presence of the master. You see, when two lovers are there, nothing to hide between them, in deep love and trust, then when the other person comes to know what the needs of others, I mean other friend, etc., he need not communicate. Just it happens, he comes to know. So when this happens, communication between lovers need not be necessary. When that deep love and trust is there. Similarly, when in the relationship of a mother and child, irrespective of the distance between them, if something happens to the child, the mother feels that agony, however and at whatever distant she is. Similarly, a mother may have breathed her last. The son feels that agony wherever he is. It is not a psychological hallucination, but that pain, that agony he undergoes. So this is called law of synchronicity. The same thing happens between a master and a disciple, because the disciple in deep love and trust is able to commune with the master, and the master only talks to him, not in physical sense, but through communion. So the disciple need not tell any of his difficulties or what questions or doubts or whatever it is. Simply if he feels in his heart, there will be a communion with the master, and the master comes to know, and through various means he tries to reach out to the disciple to help him and clear his doubts or questions or whatever it is. So, this I am not telling just by reading a book or collecting some information. This is my own experience. The Master is a divine form of that eternity. He comes to know, you need not tell him. A real Master knows the depths of your heart, the being of your heart. He comes without asking to your rescue. And he will help you by all means to come out of that impasse. So, that kind of communion is possible only between a master and a disciple. That's why disciples gather to share their experiences, the love of the Master, how the grace of the Master, how they experienced, to share that kind of experiences is called Satsang. In Satsang, every heart is filled with love towards the Master and divinity. So, the hearts of all the disciples are full of love and gratitude. So, when they share, they come to know that the powerhouse from which the energy flows to them is one and same. Master is full of godliness. Master is a window of godliness. When you are with the realized Master, through the flowing of that godliness, through the window of the flowing of that godliness, you can have your own insight, and that insight will transform you. That a transformation is not a commandment of the Master. That transformation happens naturally, spontaneously, by means of some kind of stirring from within, and that is wisdom. That is a glimpse of divinity. So, Carl Utsav Jung, he is the man who advocated this law of synchronicity. So, actually, about 100 years ago, a scientist went to stay in an old house. In that house, there were two clocks on a wall. And on a close observation, he noticed that the time was exactly the same in the two wall clocks. So he got puzzled and want to see how it works. So he has put the time of one clock 5 minutes back, and after 24 hours he observed that again both clocks are showing the exact time, second to second. He wondered, there is something, how it happens. He has put the time of one clock back 5 minutes, and nobody has done anything and nobody touched it also. So how could it happen? Then on crucial and inquisitive examination of the whole issue, he has concluded that the vibrations of the big clock, out of two, one is a big clock. So the vibrations of a big clock on the wall are responsible to stir and to be, or to enable the other clock to be in tune with this big clock. That vibe is invisible and intangible, but it functions. So this is the law of synchronicity. This is what happens between a master and a disciple, as already explained in detail earlier. So, my dear friends, be in tune with divinity, with God, with nature, with Master. Light your own self. Draw your own insights from the eternity. That will transform you, your whole consciousness. That will transform you, your whole being. That purity will transform you. That insight of that divinity spreads the fragrance of peace, love, joy and bliss. So, thank you.